Dude, this is so sick.
That is awesome.
So today we are here in Wuppertal, Germany. The reason why we're in this city is because they have something really cool. They have this monorail tram system. It kind of reminds me of Chicago because it runs above the city. We're going to do a long exposure, a panning shot, and another one which you'll see at the end of the video. So I know right now you probably want to go straight into taking night photos, but it's super important to pre-plan your shoot. So before you go out and shoot, make sure your batteries are charged. At least bring one spare battery, because the worst thing is going out there and not having enough battery to take photos. I know it might seem simple, but these are really good habits to get into. Second one, if you're shooting long exposures, you need to bring a tripod plate for your camera, because obviously you're going to need a tripod as well, but there's no point in bringing this if you don't have this thing here. So always just visually look at them and be like, okay, I've got these things here. This plate, by the way, this is the plate that goes onto your camera so that you can attach it to your tripod so that it doesn't fall off. And the last thing is format your SD cards. What that means is erasing all the previous photos on, so it ensures that you have enough storage on your SD card for the photos on this shoot. So just a couple of things, always good to get into the habit before you go out and shoot. Make sure you've got all those things checked off so you can just not stress whilst you're out taking photos, and you can just focus on creating cool shots. Sweet, with that all out of the way, let's go and take some cool night shots. Can we get a long exposure quickly? Dude, this is so sick. This one's just a test shot. It is really cool. Once I get my tripod down, super happy. This is going to be a really cool shot. I'm changing my plate. So this is the plate that allows me to clip my camera onto my camera bag. But now I need to change a plate for my tripod. So like we said before, don't forget it. You always got to bring this little guy. I'm going to keep my shutter speed at 0.8 of a second. So it's almost 1 second, just a little bit under. And the reason I want to do that is because if it's too long, then you're not going to see the object of the tram. It's just going to look like a light trail. In this photo, I actually want you to be able to tell that it's a monorail. Then for our aperture, we're going to boost that up to somewhere around 5 to make sure that everything in the frame is in focus. And then for our ISO, with night photography, you want to keep your ISO as low as possible so that you don't get grain. But for this one, I'm going to keep it at 200, and that's going to ensure that we get the right amount of light without getting too much grain. Let's get this shot. Oh. Nice, did we get it? Woo. That is so cool. Alright, so we got one side, now we got to wait for the other train. The reason why I want to get a train on both sides is just to get more symmetry. It brings more balance into your shot as opposed to just having it on one side of the frame. So if you can, using symmetry is always nice in night long exposures. Vandaag nog. So I'm just holding down the shutter button. Cool. Okay, now we got the other side. So that's the one we just got then, and then that's the other one. So we can kind of merge these two frames in post. All right, that's shot number 1 done. Now let's go and do shot number 2. Whoa, even that one was sick. That is awesome. So now we've got 2 exposures in one shot. So we've got the cars going along the road, and then we have this monorail going up. So that's just going to help fill up the frame as well. I'm shooting on my 24-70, and for this shot I've got it all the way zoomed out at 24mm just to get a more wide shot, because we want to get the road and the tram in it as well. What a cool shot. Damn. That is really nice. next shot is a panning shot. So this is a shot where you're going to be tracking a vehicle as it's going by, and it looks cool because you get this motion blur effect. So when you're doing a panning shot, you want to spot the vehicle that you're going to take a photo of and then keep it in the exact same spot in the frame as you're moving. That's going to ensure that the vehicle's going to be sharp and then everything else will be blurry, and then you can get a cool shot. Okay, that was a really random angle, but we kind of got a... No, okay, it was just bad. You want to get a different angle for these shots. So I've just come here to do the panning shot, but I've realized that it's actually not a good spot to do it because you want to have a spot with lights in the background. See how there's no lights here? That means that there's not going to be any like light trails or anything interesting. You're not going to get all that crazy motion blur. So let's go find a spot with some lights and I'll show you the difference. See that? There's like no lights, whereas if I do a shot here, there's lights in the background. It just creates a way better shot. Oh, we didn't get it. See, that's the thing. So I was moving my camera just then faster than the tram was moving, which is why it's blurry. So you really have to not get too excited. Like I got way too excited then and just moved my camera too fast. So keep it chill, move it at the same speed, and we'll try again the next time. If you're a beginner, if it's your first time doing this sort of panning shot, I'd recommend a shutter speed of 1/5 of a second. Just because if it's too long, then you have to be more steady and more accurate with the shot. So if you're finding you're really not just getting it, you can try putting your shutter speed up a little bit more. That's going to make it easier. Oh, let's go. Okay, I think we got it. Yeah, okay. We got it. Okay, so see there, because I tracked it at the exact same speed, the people in the tram are in focus and sharp, and then everything else is blurred. So we just bought this ticket, which is a train ticket, because we're actually going to hop on this monorail now. And the last shot we're going to be getting is a long exposure, but we're going to be in the train. So everything else is going to be blurry. It's going to kind of look like we're doing a time warp. Have you ever seen in Star Wars when you enter light speed? That's essentially what this photo is going to look like. So it's just going to be a bunch of light trails going all crazily either side of us. Very bumpy. Whoa, that looks cool though. I think getting a shot as we're leaving the station is going to be cool for this style of shot. Oh, gotta adjust my settings. Did we get it? Such a small station. Oh yeah, that's cool. So like, kind of playing around with the light in the station. Alright, now we just got home and I'm going to take you through my whole editing process. First things first, grab your SD card, chuck it in your computer, and we're going to transfer the files. So the way I like to do it is I make a new file. So for example, this time it's called long exposures. And then I make a new folder called photos. So this is for my vlog. So whatever file format you have. So you could have like 2025 photo shoots and then Wuppertal and then your photos. Then you find the photos on your SD card. And I like to have two tabs open here. So then I'm just going to copy and then paste them into here. So now that the photos are all transferred onto your computer, what I like to do, I just go into Lightroom like this and make sure you're in library mode. And then you can literally just drag all the photos from the shoot straight in. And now it's going to have them all in this import mode here. You can either import all the photos, but you can also go through and if you press P, you can just pick the photos and it will only select those ones and import them. So it just saves you from having thousands and thousands of photos in your Lightroom. When you merge photos in Photoshop, like we're going to do later, we're going to combine all these 3 exposures into one shot. Think about it like when you're picking them, think, okay, what photo do I want to be in the bottom here? What photo do I want to be on the right side? And then what photo do I want to be on the left? And that's just going to help you get a better idea of the final edit. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the photos that I want to combine in Photoshop, and I'm just going to rate them 5 stars. And the way you do that is you just click on a photo here in your gallery, press the number like 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, and that will rate it 5 stars, which means you can just find the photo easier. I'm going to hold Command and click on the photos that I want to import, and I press Command E, and that's going to open them all up in Photoshop. Next step is to copy them and make sure they're all on the one Photoshop document. So I'm just going into each different tab, double click, copy, and then paste. So this top one here, this is going to be on the right side of the image. Then this second image here, this is what we're going to use for the bottom part here. And then this is going to be on the left side. Okay, we're going to create a layer mask, and then we're just going to paint just around the areas here. So we're going to reveal what's underneath it, which is this exposure here. So now we've combined these 2 shots together. I want to use the left side of the train here to put in this image. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to enable the visibility of it here, create a layer mask, and then if I just paint the color black on this layer mask, it's going to erase out this layer, so it will reveal everything that's on the layers underneath. Look at that. That's essentially it, really. It's not too difficult. Now we have the 3 exposures in one frame. So you want to save it as a TIFF file because that's going to be the highest quality, which will give you the most amount of data when you're editing the photo in Lightroom. So we're going to name it Combined Long Exposure. Always name your files, because otherwise when you go to look back at them, you're going to be confused. So you can either re-import that photo into Lightroom, but most of the times it will just pop up here after you save it in Photoshop. So now we've combined all the photos together, we want to edit the colors. And the way that I do that is with my Lightroom presets. So I like to just hover over them and see which preset works well with this image. By the way, all these photos are edited using my new Lightroom preset pack, the Inner Creator preset pack. The pack comes with 20 of my best Lightroom presets, video tutorials showing you how to use each preset. I actually sit down and show you which photo works well with each individual preset. So if you want to grab the Inner Creator preset pack, head into the link into the description below. I think we're going to start with Balloon here. So we'll use that as a base preset. I kind of like to look at one thing that I want to change and then go and change that. So right now, I think I want to put the highlights up a little bit more, just to there. I feel like it's a bit too blue here. So I'm going to go to the blue and just desaturate it a little bit. Now I want to darken this left-hand side here. So I'm going to press M to get a graduated filter, click and drag, and then you can just put the exposure down. And as you can see, it just places more focus on the center of the image. And we're going to do the same for the left hand side as well up here. And we'll do a little one on the right. Now for Instagram, you want to crop your image to 4:5. So I press R in Lightroom, which gives you the crop tool. Then you can go to 4:5. Double tap L, that's going to make everything else dark and just really help you focus on how to compose that image. And then I think somewhere here is cool, something like that. So there's the before, there's the after. So now we're going to edit the panning shot. So we didn't completely nail this, but it is really hard. If you want to get the perfect panning shot, you need to have a lot of patience and just stay there and just like keep practicing. And eventually you will get this part of the image perfectly sharp and everything else will be blurry. But it's good enough and I still think it's a really cool shot. So first things first, I want to straighten up the image. So I'm going to crop it to 4:5 and then just click on the side here and just angle it so that it's straight, it's vertically straight. For this one, I don't really like how it's dark here, so I'm just going to crop it out because the train carriage ends there. So let's just zoom it in a little bit more and just crop this image in. There's more focus on the subjects of the image, which is these characters sitting in the train. And then to edit the colors, what I'll do, I'll just go over to the presets here, choose Balloon. I like the way that this one looks. Probably put the highlights up a little bit, add a bit more clarity back in, and bring up the shadows a bit more, add a little bit more contrast, and maybe some more saturation. I think for me right now, the carriage is a bit too aqua and a bit too bright, so I can just bring the luminance down of the blues and make that a bit more to the purple side. That's the edit of that image. Alright, now the last image, the warp shot. So this one looks really cool. Even though it was super shaky in the train, we still managed to get a cool shot. Let's have a look. Ooh, there was a cool preset there. Where was it? Oh, that looks so sick. So right now, we're going to be using Night Aqua Portraits. I feel like it is a little bit too blue here, and I'm pretty sure that's the color grading, so I'm just going to hold Option, and then you can just click Reset, and that will reset that part, so you can do it here as well. It's a bit too aqua, so we're going to bring the blues over a bit to the right. Something like that looks really, really cool. Maybe just bring a bit more shadow detail out and a bit more clarity. I also just want to bring out the yellows here because they're a bit desaturated, so I'll go to the yellow tab here. It's not really affecting it. If it doesn't affect it, you can just press K, which is the brush tool, make it a bit smaller, and then paint over this section. I want to make it yellow, so I can desaturate it a bit and then go to the color here and just make that yellow. That's going to be the best. But now we just got a little pop of yellow there as well. So there are 3 photo ideas that you can go out and shoot tonight, and I hope you do actually go out and take some photos after watching this video. If you do, tag me on Instagram at 7thero because I'd love to see what you create. And that's all. I'll see you in the next video.